D-Day, I was in the third wave going in Omaha Beach. We had to jump in that cold water to get into the shore, you know. A lot of them had so much equipment, though, they had to drop their guns in the water or they would have drowned. So after we got up and ready to go up the cliff, I said, you men that haven't got no guns, go down and get you the ones off of the dead soldiers and come on. And the Germans up on top of the cliff with a machine gun shooting down at us.
As global tensions began to rise throughout Asia and Europe, the 1930s saw the United States rocked by the economic downfall of the Great Depression. Millions of families, parents and children alike, scrambled to find whatever paying jobs they could. And the family of Louie Graziano was no different.
And I remember 1929, everybody running to the bank to get their money out, and the bank was closed, they couldn't get in. I do odds and end jobs. My father would put in some sewer lines, and I'd go in and help him dig the ditches. Cut grass for 25 cents, which they get hundreds now. I just would do anything I could put my hands on and work. Well, my sister and mother, they was cutting hair, and so I went to school, in hairstyling school, and learned all about that. And went to work in the beauty shop with them.
Though the United States had managed to keep their wartime involvement to little more than support for Britain, the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor brought the fight to their doorstep. Before long, the U.S. shifted into a mass mobilization of troops from all reaches of the country, pouring into the Pacific and European theaters. Whether by enlistment or the draft, nearly every young American man was drawn into the war effort.
Well, I really didn't think too much about it, but then I was drafted and I was ready to go. And at Fort Niagara, the captain said, you got to cut your mustache off. Of course, being a rookie, I didn't say nothing to him, so I went ahead and cut it off. But after about a week or two, I got transferred to go to Fort Hood, Texas. Then I started letting the mustache grow again. My men, I would give them passes if they wanted to stay out all night, but they had to be there for reveille. And this one guy, he kept coming in late. So finally I says, give me a pass. You're not coming in when you're supposed to. He says, take your shirt off and come out here. He was bigger than I was, you know. Of course, all the men knew I was a hairdresser. I said, you ain't going to go out there and fight him, are you? I said, yeah, I'm going to go fight him. When I was growing up, I lived next door to the boxing place where they boxed and wrestled. I'd go in and box and wrestle with him. So I took my shirt off, went out there and beat the hell out of him. So I had no more trouble with him. I went overseas. I went over on the Queen Mary. Well, I had commando training to start with in England. And then I was put into the big cannons, and we had an air raid. Well, every night they'd come just to get us up. I rose up. Yeah, they'd come in at night and air raid, and I told my boys, we got to get that plane that's coming over. So I said, we're going to stay up one night, wait for him. And we did. We shot that plane down. Then we went and found him, found the plane where it landed. And the Germans was in there that was dead. And then I saw the patch. I said, I think I want that, so I cut that off,
By June of 1944, 5 years of World War had been building up to a moment that would change the course of history. The Allied forces had finally achieved the air and sea superiority needed to launch an invasion on Western Europe and begin to drive Hitler's forces back to Germany. The D-Day invasion of Normandy would be the largest sea-to-land assault in history, but German forces had no intention of lying down without a fight.
D-Day, I was in the third wave going in Omaha Beach. We had to jump in that cold water to get into the shore, you know. And a lot of them had so much equipment and all, they had to drop their guns in the water or they would have drowned. So after we got up under there and ready to go up the cliff, I said, you men that haven't got no guns, go down and get you the ones off of the dead soldiers and come on. And the Germans up on top of the cliff with a machine gun shooting down at us. So I got my flamethrower out. I shot a flamethrower up there, put all that on fire underneath him. Got rid of that machine gun. Then there was another gun down lower. I threw the flare up for the Navy. And they knew what I wanted, and they shot and got that other gun out. Then we had to climb the cliff after that. So we fought our way all the way up the cliff. Of course, the Germans shooting at us, but we got the best of them. I had 30 men I was in charge of, and I lost 2 of them as we made the landing. And we fought all our way to St. Lo. And from St. Lo, we fought our way till we got to Reims, France. And then I was put in charge with Eisenhower's Special Troop Command. And I was in charge of the war room. That was a Little Red Schoolhouse where his headquarters was, but he wasn't living there, so I had to put some special telephone lines in where he lived, which is next town over. We run wires all the way through town and through the fields and put the lines in for him. Stayed with him for 2 days, and then we went back to camp.
As the winter of 1944 was beginning to set in, the Allies had made tremendous progress since D-Day, and many were hopeful that the war would be won by Christmas. But Hitler had one more trick up his sleeve. In a desperate mobilization of every available soldier, weapon, and machine, German forces launched a massive surprise attack, punching a hole in the Allies' defenses and surrounding them by the thousands. The attack, paired with the most dreadful winter in years, was known as the Battle of the Bulge.
Battle of the Bulge? Well, the captain come in one night and he says, we got to go find General Patton's. Half of his troops got lost. So I went with him. Of course, on the way there, my feet got froze. And they black all the way half up my leg. But I still kept going on. About all day. We found him before dark. We got him to Bastogne, and from there, Captain and I went back to Reims. And then they had me in the hospital for a couple of weeks. There was swelling and fluid coming out of him. I still had trouble with him. I was in there about 2 weeks, and I wanted to get out back with my men. And they said, well, you gotta put bigger shoes on and 2 pairs of socks before we let you out. I said, you better go find me some shoes because I want to get out of there. So he did.
Can you tell me about that feeling of urgency, wanting to get back to your men?
Well, they all liked me. I mean, I took care of them, and I wasn't one of those sergeants that said, do this, do that. We got along fine. Buck, he was my sidekick. He was good. He kept things alive, kept you laughing. And he knocked me down to the ground one time, saved my life. Well, they were shooting at us, and he saw that I was going to get hit, so he knocked me to the ground. Otherwise, I'd have got shot. So I told him he could knock me down anytime.
By the end of January 1945, the German assault had run out of steam, while the Allies' troops and supplies kept pouring in. With the Battle of the Bulge finally over, a weakened Germany remained on the retreat for the duration of the war, until the end of April, when a humiliated Adolf Hitler took his own life. Days later, the German High Command signed the terms of surrender, and Louis is the last living eyewitness.
Yeah, I took care of their war room. I was in there and I set the table up where everybody's going to sit. So then Eisenhower wouldn't be in the room in case they decided not to sign it. So after they finally signed it, I took them to his room and he questioned them and all. And he wouldn't shake hands with him, but they clipped their heels together like that when they left.
What was it like for you to be there at the official end?
Oh, it was great. I knew I was going to get to go home. I went back to hairstyling when I got back from the war. My sister was still had a beauty shop going, and I went back in there, went to work.
Are you still working?
Off and on. Some of my old customers won't turn me loose, but I'm not trying to take no new ones.
Hey, I'm Josh from Memoirs of World War II. Each day, more and more veterans of the Second World War are passing away, and along with them, their personal experiences. But we're on a mission to capture and share these unique perspectives right here on our channel, and your support is crucial in preserving this history. You can help us out by joining us on Patreon, and you can find more details at memoirsofworldwar2.com. Also, make sure you're subscribed and click the notification bell. Your support of our channel keeps these stories alive. Thank you for sharing these videos, and thanks for watching.